The rain was coming down hard when Brody saw her, his dead wife, alive, begging on a Dallas street corner with 2 kids who had his face. He'd spent 5 years trying to forget her. Now he couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything but stare at the ghost holding a soaked cardboard sign. Brody Mitchell stepped out of his black SUV and froze. Rain hammered the pavement. Thunder rolled somewhere in the distance. His assistant was saying something about the meeting, about investors, about the $40 million deal waiting for him inside the Galleria. He didn't hear a word, because across the street, huddled under a broken awning, sat a woman he'd buried 5 years ago. Kelsey. 2 small boys clung to her sides, their clothes soaked through. She held a cardboard sign, the words bleeding into nothing from the rain. Her hair hung in wet tangles. Her hands shook, but those eyes, green, sharp, unmistakable. Kelsey. Her name barely made it past his throat. She looked up. For one heartbeat, her face went blank. Then her eyes widened, not with relief or joy, but with pure terror. She grabbed both boys and shot to her feet, stumbling backward. "Stay away from us!" The words hit him like a slap. "Kelsey, it's me. It's Brody." "I know who you are." Her voice cracked, raw, desperate. "And I'm telling you to stay the hell away." The boys stared up at him with wide, frightened eyes, dark hair plastered to their heads, green eyes like hers. But their faces, God, their faces looked just like his baby pictures. His chest tightened. "They told me you were dead. There was a funeral. I buried. You buried a lie." She laughed, but the sound was broken glass. "Congratulations. You did a great job mourning too. 3 whole months before you ran off to Tokyo." "I couldn't stay here." His voice rose. "Every corner of this city had your face on it. I couldn't breathe without remembering you." "So touching." Her jaw clenched. "Meanwhile, I was living in my car, 8 months pregnant, wondering how I'd survive the night." The ground tilted under him. "Pregnant?" "Don't act surprised. You think these kids just appeared out of nowhere?" He looked at the boys again. Really looked. 4 years old, maybe 5. The timeline fit. The math worked. Everything fit except the part where any of this made sense. "Mama, I'm cold." The smaller boy, his voice thin and shaky, tugged her wet sleeve. "I know, baby." Kelsey's voice went soft, tender. She brushed his hair back. "Just a little longer, okay?" Then she turned back to Brody, and the tenderness vanished. "Go back to your meeting, your billion-dollar empire, whatever matters more than us." "You matter. You've always—" "Stop." She held up a hand. "Don't you dare stand there in your $1,000 suit and tell me I matter. If I mattered, you would have asked questions. You would have demanded to see the body. You would have done something other than sign your name and disappear." "I thought you were dead." The words exploded out of him. "What was I supposed to do?" "Fight!" Her voice broke. "You were supposed to fight for me." A car splashed through a puddle nearby, spraying cold water across them. The boys flinched. Kelsey pulled them closer, shielding them with her body. Brody's hands curled into fists. "Tell me what happened, please." She stared at him for a long moment. Rain dripped from her chin. Her whole body trembled, from cold or anger. He couldn't tell. "Your mother came to our apartment," she said finally, voice flat. "Day after the wedding. Said I was trailer trash. Said I trapped you with my pretty face and my sad story. Offered me $2 million to disappear." His stomach dropped. "No, she wouldn't." "She did. 2 million, Brody. All I had to do was sign papers saying the marriage never happened and get out of your life." "I never signed an annulment. I would never—" "Because I said no." Her eyes blazed. "I told her I loved you, that we'd figure it out together. That money didn't matter. Then why? Then your father's lawyer showed up a week later with the same offer, 3 million this time. When I refused again, He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're making a mistake." Brody's blood ran cold. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying 3 weeks later, our apartment caught fire in the middle of the night." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I barely made it out. Woke up in a hospital in Oklahoma with no memory of how I got there. No ID, no phone, nothing. The investigators said it was an accident, faulty wiring." "Investigators your father paid." She laughed again, bitter and sharp. "By the time I remembered who I was, I saw it on the news. My own funeral. Your mother crying for the cameras. You standing there like a statue in your black suit." His throat closed up. "I didn't know. I swear to God I didn't." "Then you should have asked." Tears mixed with rain on her face. "You should have demanded answers. Should have wondered why they rushed the funeral, why the casket stayed closed, why they pushed you to leave the country so fast." Every word landed like a punch, because she was right. He'd been so buried in grief, so desperate to escape the pain, that he'd never questioned anything. He'd signed what they put in front of him, took the overseas contracts, built his empire on the ashes of his marriage. "If this is true," he said slowly, "why didn't you come back? Why didn't you find me?" "And say what?" Her voice rose. "Hi, honey. I'm alive. Your parents tried to murder me. Oh, and by the way, I'm pregnant with your twins. You think you would have believed me?" You would have called security." She cut him off. "You would have thought I was some crazy woman trying to scam you, because that's what your parents would have told you I was." He opened his mouth, closed it, because deep down he wasn't sure she was wrong. The boy on the left started crying, not loud, just soft, tired whimpers. Kelsey crouched down, whispered something in his ear, and kissed his forehead. When she stood back up, her face was stone. "We're done here. Forget you saw us." "I can't do that." "You did it for 5 years. You'll manage." She turned, pulling the boys with her. "Kelsey, wait. Goodbye, Brody. I'm not leaving Dallas," he shouted over the rain. "I'm staying this time. I swear." She didn't look back, just kept walking, her boys stumbling beside her, disappearing into the storm. Brody stood there, soaked to the bone, shaking. His assistant appeared at his side, phone in hand, face pale. "Sir, the investors just pulled out. They said if you can't show up, they can't trust you with their money." "Good." Brody's voice was hollow. "Good? Sir, that was 40 million. "I don't care." He pulled out his phone with trembling hands and dialed. 3 rings. Then his father's voice, smooth and controlled. "Brody, where are you? The deal. Did you try to kill Kelsey?" Silence, long and suffocating. "Did you?" Brody's voice dropped to something dangerous. "Son, I don't know what you think. Answer the question." Another pause. Then, "We did what we had to do. That girl was going to destroy you." The world stopped spinning. "You tried to murder my wife. We tried to save you." His father's voice stayed calm, too calm. "She was pregnant, Brody, trying to trap you with a baby. We gave her options, money, a future somewhere else. She refused, so we made a choice." "You killed someone." His voice shook. "You put a body in a casket and let me bury it thinking it was her. A homeless woman, no family to miss her, no one to ask questions." Brody's stomach turned. "You're a monster." "I'm a father who protected his son." He ended the call before he said something he'd regret. His assistant stared at him, wide-eyed. "Sir, what just happened?" "My wife is alive." Brody looked up at the rain-soaked sky. "And my parents tried to kill her." "Your wife is... I thought she died 5 years ago." "So did I." He started walking toward his SUV, purpose hardening in his chest. "Cancel everything, every meeting, every deal. I don't care what it costs." "But sir, I need to find my wife and my sons." "Your sons?" "Yeah. A grim smile touched his lips. The sons I didn't know existed until 10 minutes ago. He climbed into the SUV, water dripping from his suit onto the leather seats. Take me to every shelter in Dallas, every church, every soup kitchen, everywhere someone with 2 kids might go to get out of the rain. The driver glanced in the rearview mirror. Sir, that could take all night. Then it takes all night. Brody's jaw tightened. I lost her once. I'm not losing her again. The SUV pulled into traffic, windshield wipers fighting the downpour, and for the first time in 5 years, Brody Mitchell had a purpose that mattered more than money. He had to find his family, before it was too late. 3 days later, Brody had checked 42 shelters and hadn't slept more than 4 hours total. His assistant quit on day 2. His father called 20 times. Brody blocked the number. His mother showed up at his hotel on day 3. Brody, this is insane. She stood in his suite doorway, designer purse clutched tight. You're destroying everything we built. Everything you built on lies. He didn't look up from his laptop. Another list of shelters, another set of addresses. That girl is manipulating you. Her name is Kelsey, and she's my wife. Your marriage was annulled. No, it wasn't. He finally looked at her. I never signed anything, which means I'm still legally married, which means those boys are my legitimate sons. His mother's face went pale. What boys? My sons, your grandsons, the ones you tried to erase. She sat down hard on the couch. Brody, you have to understand. We were protecting the family name. That girl came from nothing. Her mother was a drunk. Her father was in prison. She was going to drag you down. So you tried to kill her. We tried to remove an obstacle. Her voice was ice. The fire was an accident. We just helped it along. Brody stood up, walked to the door, opened it. Get out. Brody, get out of my hotel. Out of my life. I never want to see you again. You're my son. And Kelsey was my wife. Those boys are my children. You tried to murder them. His voice shook. Get out. She stood slowly, grabbed her purse. At the door, she turned. You'll regret this. I already regret not asking questions 5 years ago. Now leave before I call the police. She left. Brody locked the door and sat on the floor, head in his hands. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? Stop looking for us. Kelsey's voice. He shot to his feet. Where are you? Are you safe? Are the boys? We're fine, and we'll stay fine if you leave us alone. I'm not leaving you alone. Not again. Brody, I mean it. You showing up ruined everything. We had a place to stay. Now the shelter kicked us out because paparazzi followed you there. Thanks for that. His stomach dropped. What? When? Yesterday. Someone saw you. Posted it online. Billionaire searches homeless shelters. It went viral. Now everyone knows what we look like. We can't go anywhere without cameras. I'm sorry. I didn't think... You never do. She sounded tired. Just go back to your life. Forget about us. I can't. Why not? You did it before. Because I thought you were dead. His voice rose. You keep acting like I abandoned you. I mourned you. I couldn't eat for 3 months. I couldn't sleep. I left Dallas because every street reminded me of you. So don't tell me I forgot. I never forgot. Silence on the other end. Then, your mom offered me $5 million this time. Brody felt the floor drop. What? She found us yesterday, came to the shelter before it kicked us out, said she'd give me $5 million to take the boys and disappear for good, make you think we were never real. Tell me you didn't. Of course I didn't. Kelsey's voice cracked. But I'm scared, Brody. Your family has money, power. They made me disappear once. They can do it again. Not this time. I'm not a kid anymore. I have my own money, my own power. And what are you going to do? Buy us a house. Play daddy for a few months until it gets hard? I'm going to protect you. We don't need protection. We need you to leave us alone. The line went dead. Brody stared at his phone. Then he made a call. Porter, it's Brody Mitchell. I need a lawyer. The best one you've got. 2 days later, Brody stood outside a rundown motel on the east side of Dallas. A private investigator had finally tracked Kelsey down. He knocked on room 14. The door opened a crack. Kelsey's face appeared, guarded. How did you find us? I hired someone. Can I come in? No. Kelsey, please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. She stared at him for a long moment. Then she opened the door. The room was small. 1 bed, a crib that looked like it came from a thrift store. The 2 boys sat on the floor, playing with toy cars that had seen better days. They looked up when Brody walked in. The one on the left, the crier, hid behind his brother. It's okay, Tucker. Kelsey's voice went soft. He's not going to hurt you. Tucker, so that was his name. And that's Dawson. She pointed to the other boy, who stared at Brody with curious eyes. Dawson, Tucker, his sons. Hi, Brody said quietly. He knelt down to their level. I'm Brody. I know, Dawson said. You're the man from the rain. Yeah, I am. Tucker peeked out from behind his brother. Are you going to make Mama cry again? The words hit harder than any punch. No, Brody said. I'm going to try really hard not to. Kelsey pulled a chair out from the tiny table. You said 5 minutes. Talk. Brody stood, faced her. I filed legal papers this morning, restraining orders against both my parents. They can't come within 500 feet of you or the boys. Her eyebrows rose. You got a restraining order against your own parents? After what they did? Yeah. They'll fight it. Let them. I've got lawyers that make theirs look like mall cops. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. I also set up a trust fund for Tucker and Dawson, $15 million each. They can't touch it until they're 25, but it's theirs, no strings. Kelsey didn't take the envelope. I don't want your money. It's not for you, it's for them, so they never have to sleep in a car or a shelter or a place like this. She flinched. I'm not judging, he added quickly. I'm saying they deserve better. You all do. And what's the catch? No catch. There's always a catch with people like you. People like me? He felt anger rising. I'm not my parents, Kelsey. Aren't you? You come from the same world, the same money, the same rules that say people like me don't matter. You matter. His voice dropped. You've always mattered, more than anything. She looked away. Pretty words don't pay rent. Then let me pay rent. Let me get you out of here. A safe place. Your own space. So you can control us? So you can breathe without looking over your shoulder? The boys went quiet. Tucker's lip trembled. Kelsey closed her eyes. You need to go. Kelsey, please, just go. Brody set the envelope on the table. That's the trust information, and a bank card. There's $50,000 on it, for emergencies, for food, for whatever you need. I said I don't want. It's not about what you want. His voice rose, then he forced it down. It's about what they need. Look at them, Kelsey. Really look. They're wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. Tucker's got a cough. Dawson's got circles under his eyes. You're doing your best, but you shouldn't have to do it alone. Tears filled her eyes. She wiped them away fast. Get out. I'm staying in Dallas, at the Ritz, room 804. If you need anything, I won't. If you change your mind, I won't. He looked at Tucker and Dawson one more time. His sons, 4 years old, and he'd missed everything. First steps, first words, first everything. I'm sorry, he said quietly, for all of it. Then he left. That night, Kelsey sat on the motel bed staring at the bank card. $50,000. She could pay rent somewhere decent, get the boys new clothes, take Tucker to a doctor for that cough, maybe even buy a car that didn't break down every other week, but taking Brody's money felt like giving in. "Mama?" Dawson climbed onto the bed. "Is that man our daddy?" Kelsey's throat tightened. "Why do you ask?" "Because he has my nose. Tucker said so." She pulled him close. "Yeah, baby, he's your daddy." "Where was he?" "Far away." "Why?" "Because I let him think I was dead. Because his parents are monsters. Because life is complicated and 4-year-olds shouldn't have to understand it." "He didn't know about you," she said instead. "Does he know now?" "Yeah, he knows." "Is he gonna stay?" That was the question, wasn't it? "I don't know." Dawson was quiet for a minute. Then, "I hope he does. He seems nice." Kelsey kissed the top of his head. "Get some sleep, okay?" After the boys crashed, she sat at the wobbly table and Googled Brody's name. The results made her sick. Brody Mitchell, tech billionaire, returns to Dallas. Mitchell Air cuts ties with family empire. Breaking, Brody Mitchell files restraining order against parents. Then the tabloid articles. Dead wife alive, Mitchell's secret scandal. Billionaire's hidden children surface. Someone had gotten photos, her and the boys outside the motel. The comments were brutal. Gold digger faked her death. She's obviously after his money. Those kids probably aren't even his. Kelsey closed the laptop before she threw it across the room. The next morning, someone knocked on the motel door at 6 a.m. Kelsey opened it to find a woman in a business suit holding a briefcase. "Mrs. Mitchell, I'm Hadley Price. I'm an attorney with Morrison and Associates. Mr. Mitchell hired me to represent you." "I don't need a lawyer." "Actually, you do. His parents filed a lawsuit this morning. They're claiming parental alienation and demanding custody of the twins." The world tilted. "They what?" "They're arguing that since Mr. Mitchell is the biological father, and you've kept the children from him for 4 years, you're unfit. They want emergency custody pending a full hearing." Kelsey couldn't breathe. "They can't do that." "They're trying. That's why you need representation." Hadley pulled papers from her briefcase. "Mr. Mitchell is also filing for joint custody, but he's insisting that you maintain primary physical custody. He's only asking for visitation rights." "He sent you here?" "He thought you'd hang up if he called." Smart. Kelsey looked back at the boys, still asleep on the bed. "If I don't fight this," she said slowly, "what happens?" "His parents could win. They have resources. They'll argue you're homeless, unemployed, that the children are living in poverty. A judge might side with them." "And if I do fight?" "With Mr. Mitchell's support and his testimony about what his parents did 5 years ago, you have a strong case, but you need to accept his help." There it was, the catch. "Let me guess, he's paying you." "He's paying me to protect your rights, not his, yours." Hadley met her eyes. "Mrs. Mitchell, I've been doing family law for 15 years. I've seen a lot of rich men try to take children from their mothers. This isn't that. He genuinely wants you to keep them." "Why?" "You'd have to ask him." After Hadley left, Kelsey sat on the bed and cried as quietly as she could. She'd survived 5 years on her own. 5 years of scraping by and protecting her boys from a world that didn't care about them. Now she had to choose: keep fighting alone and risk losing them, or accept help from the man who'd let her disappear. At noon, she showed up at the Ritz. The lobby was all marble and gold. People in expensive clothes looked at her like she'd tracked in dirt. She probably had. She took the elevator to the 8th floor, knocked on room 804. Brody opened the door in jeans and a t-shirt. He looked surprised. "Kelsey, your lawyer came by." "I know, I'm sorry. I should have called first, but..." "Are you really giving me primary custody?" He nodded. "They're your kids. You raised them. I'm not trying to take them. Then what do you want? To be their father, if you'll let me. She stepped inside. The suite was huge, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Your parents want to take them. I know, it's not going to happen. How can you be sure? Because I'll burn every dollar I have before I let them near Tucker and Dawson. His voice was steel. They tried to kill you once. They don't get a second chance. Kelsey sat on the couch. Her legs felt weak. I can't do this alone anymore, she whispered. Brody sat beside her, not too close, giving her space. You don't have to. If I let you in, if I let you be part of their lives, you can't leave. You can't decide this is too hard and disappear. They've already lost so much. I'm not leaving, not ever again. You say that now. I'm saying it for the rest of my life. He turned to face her. I missed 4 years. 4 years of birthdays and bedtimes and everything that mattered. I'm not missing another day. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. I need time to trust you again. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. And I'm not moving in with you or anything crazy like that. I wouldn't ask you to. But let me get you a safe apartment. Let me help with the legal stuff. Let me be there for them. She looked at him. Really looked. The Brody she'd married had been softer, younger. This Brody had harder edges, tired eyes. But when he talked about the boys, those edges softened. Okay, she said finally. Okay? Okay, you can help, but we do this my way, slowly. Relief flooded his face. Whatever you need. And Brody? If you hurt them, if you disappear on them, I will make your parents look like amateurs. He almost smiled. Deal. For the first time in 5 years, Kelsey felt like maybe, just maybe, things might actually be okay. 3 months later, Brody showed up at Kelsey's new apartment with takeout and found the door wide open. His heart stopped. Kelsey? No answer. He dropped the food and ran inside. The place was trashed, furniture flipped, drawers emptied, a lamp shattered on the floor. Kelsey! We're in here. Her voice came from the bathroom, small, shaking. He found them huddled in the bathtub, Kelsey with both boys pressed against her, a kitchen knife in her hand. What happened? Your mother. Kelsey's face was white. She got past the restraining order, had 2 men with her. They tried to take the boys. Brody's vision went red. Where is she now? Gone. I called 911. They left before the cops showed up. Tucker was crying. Dawson just stared at nothing. Brody pulled out his phone, hands shaking with rage. I'm ending this. Tonight. Brody, don't. But he was already dialing. An hour later, Brody walked into his parents' estate for the last time. His father sat in his office, drink in hand. His mother stood by the window. Finally, his dad said, Come to your senses? Brody closed the door, locked it. You broke into Kelsey's apartment. We were retrieving our grandchildren from an unfit environment. You terrorized them. Tucker won't stop crying. Dawson won't talk. His mother turned. They'll get over it. Children are resilient. Something snapped in Brody. He pulled out his phone and played a recording, his mother's voice clear as day. We paid $50,000 for that fire, worth every penny. His father's voice, should have paid more, did the job sloppy. Both their faces went pale. Where did you get that? His father demanded. Daniel, remember him, my old assistant, the one you fired for disloyalty? Turns out he kept recordings, lots of them. Brody's voice was ice. Conversations about bribing the coroner, about paying off investigators, about the homeless woman you murdered and put in Kelsey's place. That's illegal recording, inadmissible. In court, maybe, but not on the internet. Brody held up his phone. One click and this goes to every news outlet in the country. Your company tanks. Your reputation dies. You both go to prison." His mother laughed, nervous. "You wouldn't. We're your parents." "You tried to kidnap my children today. Try me." Silence. His father set down his drink. "What do you want?" "You sign over every share of the family company to me. You liquidate your personal assets and put them in a trust for Tucker and Dawson, and you leave. Tonight. Permanently." "You're insane." "I'm giving you a choice. Leave quietly with some dignity, or I press charges and release the recordings. You'll have nothing either way, but this way you're not in prison." His parents looked at each other. "We need time to think." "You have 60 seconds. Brody's finger hovered over his phone. 59, 58. "Wait. 45. His father cracked first. "Fine, we'll sign." "Tonight. My lawyers are outside. You sign everything now or the deal's off." 2 hours later, Brody walked out of that house for the last time. His parents were already packing. He drove back to Kelsey's apartment. The police were still there taking statements. Kelsey sat on the couch, arms wrapped around herself. The boys were with a neighbor. "It's done," Brody said quietly. "They're leaving Dallas. They won't bother you again." "How can you be sure?" "Because I made sure." He sat beside her. "They're gone, Kelsey. Really gone this time." She started crying, not sad crying, relief crying, 5 years of fear pouring out. Brody pulled her close. She didn't fight it. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered against his chest. His heart sank. "Do what?" "Pretend I don't need you. Pretend I'm not terrified every second. Pretend I don't—" She stopped. "Don't what?" She pulled back, looked at him. "Don't still love you." The world stopped. "You... what?" "I love you, Brody. I never stopped. Even when I hated you, I loved you. And I'm so tired of fighting it." He couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "Say something," she whispered. Instead, he kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper. 5 years of grief and longing and lost time pouring into that one moment. When they finally broke apart, they were both crying. "I love you," he said. "I never stopped either." "I'm still scared." "Me too." "I don't know if I can trust this." "Then don't trust it yet. Just give us a chance. A real one this time." She nodded. "Okay." "Okay?" "Yeah." She laughed through tears. "Okay." 6 weeks later, the courthouse was packed for the custody hearing, but Brody's parents didn't show. Their lawyers filed paperwork withdrawing all claims. The judge looked confused. "Mr. Mitchell, do you know why—" "They've relocated overseas, Your Honor. Permanently." The judge raised an eyebrow but didn't push. "Very well. Given the circumstances and the agreement between Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell, I'm granting joint custody with Mrs. Mitchell, maintaining primary residence." The gavel fell. Outside, reporters swarmed them. "Mr. Mitchell, is it true your parents left the country?" "Mrs. Mitchell, are you and your husband reconciling?" Brody put his arm around Kelsey. She leaned into him. "No comment," he said. "Except this. My family is together. That's all that matters." Tucker tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, can we get ice cream now?" "Yeah, buddy, we can get ice cream." As they walked to the car, Dawson took Brody's hand. Kelsey held Tucker's. A family. Not perfect, not without scars, but together. 1 year later, Brody and Kelsey stood in front of a small group of friends. No big wedding, no media circus, just them and the boys and the people who mattered. "Do you take this woman?" "I do," Brody said before the minister finished. Everyone laughed. "Eager much?" Kelsey whispered. "I've been waiting 6 years. I'm done waiting." She smiled. "I do too." They kissed. Tucker and Dawson cheered. At the reception, Dawson asked, "Are you going to leave again?" Brody knelt down. "Never, I promise. You're stuck with me forever." "Good," Tucker said, "because we're keeping you." Kelsey watched them, her heart full in a way it hadn't been in years. Later, as they danced, Brody whispered, "Thank you." "For what?" "For giving me a second chance, for letting me be their dad, for loving me even when I didn't deserve it." "You always deserved it," she touched his face. "You just had to fight for it. I'll keep fighting, every day, for the rest of my life." "I know you will." And she did, because some love doesn't die, it just waits, and when it comes back stronger. The end.